Hello all, welcome to Grade 10 Board Preparation Series. This is Ganga, Biology Faculty, Orchids the International School. So today we will be dealing with some of the previous year questions from board papers. So today we will be taking up biology part. So as you know, in biology we have 5 major chapters: life processes, control and coordination, our environment, heredity, and how do organisms reproduce. So today we will be taking the first chapter and the major chapter, that is life process. Okay, as you see, it carries 9 marks in your board paper. It is distributed in MCQs and in 2 mark and in 3 mark, and you can expect that in 4 mark, that is section E, case study. Okay, so let us see few of the questions from the previous year board papers. Fine? Yeah. Let us start. We'll start with the first questions, that is from MCQ part. You can see, consider the following statements about small intestine and select the one which is not correct. Please read the question properly. Here the question is stating which is not correct. You have to select which is not correct option from these. Okay? So let us read the first one. The length of the small intestine in animals differs as it depends on the type of the food they eat. We all know this. Obviously, small intestine will be varied in herbivores as in carnivores, because herbivores have to eat cellulose part, which is the plant part. So that's why obviously this is the correct statement. What we have to select? We have to select which is not correct statement. So obviously this is the correct statement. The small intestine is the site of the complete digestion of food. Yes, it is. So the statement is also true. So in the small intestine, digestion will get complete. So third option, the small intestine receives secretions from liver and pancreas. As we all know, if we see the digestive system part, liver and pancreas, they are connected through their duct to the small intestine. So obviously liver will be releasing the bile juice. Yeah, pancreas will be releasing pancreatic juice. So it will enter the small intestine. So this statement is also correct. So the last one which is left out is the villi of the small intestine absorb water from the unabsorbed food before it gets removed from the body via anus. So do you really think this is the function of the small intestine? Yes, small intestine does have villi. It will also absorb the food. But you can see the statement, unabsorbed food before it removed from the body via anus. The last part which is connected to the anus is the large intestine. So obviously this will be the wrong statement, and according to the question our answer will be D. Understood? I hope you understood clearly. When you are solving MCQs, make sure which one is the correct statement, which one is the not correct statement, and read the question properly, whether the question is asking to select the correct option or not correct answer. Yeah? So the second question is, an organism which breaks down the food material outside the body and then absorb it is. Means the question is talking about which organism which breaks down the food material which is outside the body, not inside the body. We have to find out that organism. So the options are given. A plant parasite, Cuscuta. Parasite is an organism which takes the ready-made food from the host itself. So obviously this is wrong. An animal parasite, tapeworm. Here also they mention parasite. When we know what is the definition, obviously this goes wrong. The third option, a bacteria, Rhizobium. Since they have given Rhizobium bacteria, obviously it is not. So the last one which is left out is fungi, that is Rhizopus. Rhizopus, it is a saprophyte which breaks down the food material outside the body and then absorb. So option is D, a fungi, rhizopus. Clear? We will move on to the next question. The third question, please read the question properly. During vigorous exercise, the occurrence of the cramps in the outer muscles of an athlete is due to the conversion of pyruvate. So you people know how the glucose will break down in our body. So glucose, one second. Yeah. So glucose will be converting into pyruvate, where it is getting converted in cytoplasm. Yeah. This pyruvate, again, it divides. If it is in the presence of oxygen, what it give. If it is in the absence of oxygen, what it give. Or in the complete, lack of oxygen, what it give. I hope by this time you people will be knowing what happens to the pyruvate if there is a presence of oxygen or absence of oxygen or lack of oxygen. But the question is talking about the occurrence of cramps. We all know that if there is a lack of oxygen in the body, when it happens, when the person is doing a severe exercise, so that time what the pyruvate get converted into lactic acid. So if you know this concept of breaking down of glucose by various oxygen, whether it is presence or absence or lack of oxygen, you can find out the answer for this. So since it is asking the cramps, so obviously the options will be lactic acid. Got it? Okay. We will be moving on to our next question. Our next question, the fourth question is, explain with the help of neat and well-labeled diagram the different steps involved in nutrition in amoeba. So this question has been asked in different ways in 2015, 2016 and 2019. So this concept remains the same. You can expect this question even as a multiple choice question or in the 2-marker or in the 3-marker. You can see there is clearly said that well-labeled diagram. If they are not mentioning that also, please draw the diagram. Okay, don't forget to draw the diagram. So what are the steps involved in the nutrition in amoeba? If you see, the first one is ingestion. What is the meaning of ingestion? It takes the food inside. So next is digestion. Digestion means breakdown of the food. The third one is absorption. It absorbs the food. The fourth one, assimilation. Assimilation means it utilizes it. The fifth one is digestion. So basically, you have to tell the definition or the meaning of all these 5 steps which is involved in nutrition in amoeba along with the diagram I'll be showing in the next coming slides. Okay, you see the answer here? Yeah. Yeah, fine. So you can see ingestion. So amoeba ingest food by using finger-like projections. They are called as pseudopodia. Pseudopodia, it is the, I can say it's a false feet of amoeba which helps in taking the food inside. That is what we call it as ingestion. The second step is digestion. As I said, digestion, once it takes the food, amoeba takes the food inside, it has to broken down into small tiny pieces. So that we call it as digestion. It happens with the help of digestive enzymes which are present in the amoeba. The third one is absorption. So whatever the food which is broken down, it will be absorbed directly into the cytoplasm of the amoeba. Okay. The fourth point is assimilation. The food is used to obtain energy and growth of the amoeba. Basically, assimilation means utilization of those nutrients which is absorbed by it. Okay. So the next one and the last one is addition. Addition is whatever the undigested food which is left out. It will get accumulated, it will get collected inside the amoeba, and then it will be expelled out with the help of cell membrane. So these are the 5 major steps you have to write, whether the question is asked for a 2 mark or 3 mark. Okay, I hope it is very easiest concept. So these are the diagrams, you have to note it down. So ingestion, the food, you have to show the pseudopodia is taking the food inside. So this is what the ingestion process looks like. The digestion, you have to show, you please label the food vacuole and the food particle which is present in your diagrams. Then comes the absorption. Show the same type of amoeba with the food vacuole and all. Then label it as assimilation, showing it is utilizing the nutrients. And the last one, you can see addition, that is throwing out through this cell membrane. Okay, so for 2 mark or for 3 mark, if this question comes, make sure to draw a neat diagram with labelings. So ma'am, what are the labelings? You might have the questions. The labeling parts are mentioned, which is the pseudopodia, show which is the food vacuole, show which is the food. So all these, if you label it and mention the each step, so that will be enough for 2 mark or 3 mark. Clear? So the next question we will be moving on is the 5th question. Explain the ways in which glucose is broken down in the absence or shortage of oxygen. So this has been asked in 2017, 2018 and even in 2019. So this is also one of the major question and very frequently asked question in the board papers. So in your textbook there is a pathway which is given. I'll show it. So I hope you have seen this in your textbook. This exact pathways, this exact mind map, you have to by hearted or learn it or understand it. So this is how the breakdown of food happens, or breakdown of glucose in different pathways, you can show it. As you see here, glucose, it is a 6-carbon molecule. So in the cytoplasm of the cell, it will get converted into pyruvate. From 6-carbon, it is getting converted into 3-carbon molecule. A little bit of energy is released here, but this conversion from glucose to pyruvate, it is happening in cytoplasm. Okay, this pyruvate now, which is present in the cell, whether there is enough oxygen or there is a lack of oxygen or there is an absence of oxygen, based on that, it will break down further. So let us see pyruvate. If there is a complete absence of oxygen, this usually not happens in human beings, as you people know. This happens in the yeast cells. So if there is complete absence of oxygen in the yeast cell, the pyruvate gets converted into ethanol. It is a 2-carbon molecule. Along with that, carbon dioxide gas will be released and the energy. So energy here which is released is very less, that is 2 ATPs only, a very little energy. Okay, because there is absence of oxygen. So let us see if there is lack of oxygen. I hope you know the differences between absence and lack of oxygen. Absence means there is not even a molecule of oxygen. Lack of oxygen means oxygen is there but it is not sufficient. So in this case, in the lack of oxygen, so this case will happen in our muscles when we are doing a severe vigorous exercise, or when you are running very fastly in your thigh muscles. Yeah, which part will work vigorously, there you can see this breakdown of pyruvate to the lactic acid and the energy. So you can see here pyruvate, which is in the cytoplasm, it's a 3-carbon molecule. In the lack of oxygen, in our muscle cell. Obviously, when we are doing vigorous exercise, our muscle cells are very active. So there will be production of lactic acid, which is a 3-carbon molecule. Along with that, energy will be released. Again, it is only 2 ATPs. It is also very less amount of energy. So since there is not enough of oxygen, there is incomplete breakdown of pyruvate to lactic acid. It is happening. So this accumulation of lactic acid in our muscles leads to cramps. So regarding this, we have discussed in our multiple choice questions too. So this is the concept what I was explaining. So in presence of oxygen, consider there is enough oxygen in the cells. Now the pyruvate, it's a 3-carbon molecule. In presence of oxygen, it will get inside the mitochondria, so which we call it as the powerhouse of the cell. It produces carbon dioxide, water and energy. Here 38 ATPs will be produced. So it is a huge number. So from one molecule of glucose, you can expect 38 ATPs. So compared to absence of oxygen and the lack of oxygen, you can see a huge number of ATPs are produced. So this shows that the pyruvate is completely broken down in presence of oxygen. Okay, I hope this concept is clear, and make sure to by heart this pathway, as it is one of the major question you can expect. Okay, we will be moving to our next question, that is question number 6. If you read the question, draw a diagram of human alimentary canal. Sorry. Yeah, it is asking to draw human alimentary canal and label the following. So these are the different parts. They are not asking the direct part of it. Instead, they have written descriptions about it. So when we are drawing diagram and when we are attending these type of questions, we have to make sure to name what it is given, not to write the exact statement what it is given in the question paper. We have to identify what it is, which organ this description is about, and we have to name it. So let us see the first part. They are asked for part in which starch digestion is initiated. So where do you think this starch digestion will get initiated? That is mouth. So you have to label this mouth, only that name you have to write, not this whole statement. Okay. Let us identify the second one, organ in which bile is stored. See, read the question properly. It is asking bile is stored, not released. Bile will be stored in gallbladder. Okay. But if the question is organ which releases bile juices, it becomes liver. So we have to label here gallbladder. The third one is the gland that secretes digestive enzymes as well as the hormones. There's one gland in our digestive system which secretes the digestive enzyme as well as the hormone. That is just present below the stomach, that is pancreas. Okay. The fourth part of the alimentary canal where water is reabsorbed. Reabsorbed is there. So it should be large intestine. If the question is asking about absorption of nutrients, then it will become small intestine. So since it is water reabsorption, this happens in the large intestine. The fifth part which they have asked is parts of the gut where finger-like projections are present to facilitate absorption of digested food. So what do you think? So it's a finger-like projections present. Okay. Parts of the gut where finger-like projections are present and facilitate the absorption. So here comes the small intestine. Okay. So these are the words you have to label. These are the parts you have to label in the diagram. See, this question is asked in 16, 19 and 2020 also. So make sure to practice the diagram. So I know most of you will be suffering or cribbing to draw diagrams, but this is one of the major part where you actually get your marks. Okay, this can be asked in 3-mark question, drawing the diagram and labeling it. Let us see. Yeah. So practice this human digestive system, which is very simpler, and not to label everything what they've asked. They've asked for the mouth, so it's not visible. Just take, yeah. So mouth, which is missed. Okay. Next, they asked for gallbladder. You can see it is here. Then they asked for the pancreas just below the stomach, I said, and small intestine, which is inside, and the next big one, what you see, that is the large intestine. These are the 5 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 parts you have to label when this type of question comes in. Make sure to name that organ, not to write the complete statement which is given in the questions. Clear? Practice diagrams. So only way to draw a good diagram is to practice. So you have to need a lot of practice to draw the diagrams. So we will be moving on to our next question. Question number 7. Just a moment. Yeah. So question number 7, this will be having 2 parts. When this kind of question comes, make sure to write the sub question numbers properly. Usually you will be missing these sub questions. So question number 7, A, and write the answer. Then you write B, write the answer. Then you write C and write the answer. So always make sure to write the question numbers and sub question number properly. So this was the question given for 3 marks in 2023 board paper. So question 8 is talking about what is meant by excretion. So they are directly asking it, what is the meaning of excretion, that we will discuss. So next one is 7th B, name the organ that connects the kidneys with the urinary bladder, state its function. And read the question properly. You have to name the organ and you have to give the function of it. C, list 2 factors on which the amount of water reabsorbed depends. We have to list out 2 factors which where amount of water will be reabsorbed. It is dependent on it. Let us see the answers. So I hope you can see the screen. Yeah. So the first question, it was asking what is the meaning of excretion. So excretion, it is a biological process. Okay, always people will get confused with undigested food material from the digestion and excretion. See, keep in your mind, excretion means removal of our metabolic waste, the toxic materials which is released from all our cellular activities, that we call it as excretion. So excretion is the biological process by which toxic metabolic waste are removed from the body. Clear? So this will be the answer for the question A. So make sure to write toxic metabolic waste. And when you are writing the answers like this, make sure to underline it. That will help you to fetch good marks. So next question was, which organ which is present in the kidney which helps in to carry urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder. The organ which connects the kidneys to the urinary bladder, kidneys to the urinary bladder is ureter. These are the tubes. You might have seen the diagram. If this is the kidney, okay, so these are the ureters. Okay, these are the ureter which connects this kidney to the urinary bladder. So this is ureter. So they are talking about which connects the kidneys and the urinary bladder. So those are the ureters. 2 ureters will be present. So and they asked what is the function of it. What it do? It just connect kidney and urinary bladder. So what it is transferring? Obviously it is transferring the urine which is formed in the kidneys to the urinary bladder. Got it? So that will be your second question ka answer. Next, there was a third question. So it talks about the reabsorption. The amount of water reabsorbed in the kidneys depends on 2 primary factors. Okay? So what are those? The amount of water which is excess water present in our body. The amount of water which is present in our body, the urine formation amount will also varies. Okay, that will be the main first factor. The second factor is the amount of dissolved waste which has to be expelled out of it. Okay, so what is the amount of toxic material which is created, how much it has to remove out of it. So these are the 2 primary factors. Okay, understood? Clear? Yeah. Okay, we will be moving on to our next question, question number 8. List in the tabular form 3 differences between arteries, arteries and veins. We have to list out only 3 differences. This question has been asked in 2013. So we have to make a list of 3 and they mentioned clearly list in a tabular column. Always remember when there is a question of differences between any 2, make a tabular column and write point-wise answers. Okay, so that will help you to fetch a good marks. Okay, let us see what are the answers for this. So here the names are missing. Just let me write. These are arteries and this is about veins. Okay, you have to make a tabular column. Since the question was asked only 3 points, let us see the first point. What is the difference between arteries and veins? So obviously these are the blood vessels. So these are the blood vessels which carry blood away from the heart. So what they are doing? They are carrying the blood away from the heart. Those are arteries. If you come to the veins, these are also the blood vessels which carry blood towards the heart. So when we say it is carrying away from the heart, your veins are carrying the blood towards the heart. So this will be our first point of difference. The second point is they have thicker walls. When they are carrying the blood from the heart, there will be a pressure more. Okay, that we call it as blood pressure. To bear that pressure, it will be having a thicker walls. Whereas veins usually they carry deoxygenated blood and they will carry blood towards the heart. There will be no much pressure, so they have thinner walls. Okay, here thicker walls arteries have, veins have a thinner walls. So the third point is these are generally do not have valves. So why do you think they do not have valves? Because arteries always carry oxygen-rich blood, excluding the pulmonary artery. I hope by this time you will be knowing about this. Pulmonary artery carry deoxygenated blood. So this is in between heart and the lungs this happens. So since we are writing the difference, they don't have valves because they carry oxygen-rich blood. Even there is a backflow in it, it doesn't have a problem because of the oxygen-rich blood. The third point under veins, they have valves because it is carrying deoxygenated blood. They are carrying deoxygenated blood. So to avoid the backflow, they have valves. So these are the 3 major differences you can write. There are a lot more differences. Among all those, any 3 you pick it up to remember it easily. These are the main 3 ones. Okay. We will move on to the next question. Question number 9, again it have two parts. Question number A, what is peristaltic movement? Question number B, stomata remain closed in desert plants during daytime. How do they do photosynthesis? This question has been asked in 2013. So it is asked in 2013. Okay, again there are two sub questions when you are writing question number 9A or question number 9B. Please label the sub questions properly. Okay, let us see the first one. What is peristaltic movement? This is a contraction and relaxation of the gut muscles. When I say gut or alimentary canal, it is about digestive part, digestive system path. Digestive system. Okay, so in this gut, it includes esophagus also. Okay, it also have small intestine. It also have large intestine. So right from the mouth till the anus, it moves in a path. So that path we call it as gut canal or alimentary canal. So the movement of food which happens in this gut, okay, it is because of the contraction of the muscles and relaxation of the muscles. Because of these two movements which happens in the gut muscular walls, there will be movement of food. So that movement we call it as peristaltic movement. Let us see the answer for this. Yeah, you can observe here peristaltic movement. It is a process where muscles of the gut, they relax and contract for what? To push the food partially downwards. So in the digestive system. So this process or this movement we call it as peristaltic movement. It not only happens in esophagus, it also happens in small intestine and large intestine to push the food forward. Okay. The second question was the stomata. What was our second question, which is related to stomata remain closed in desert plants during daytime? Why? Why the stomatas are closed? You might be knowing on the leaf surface, okay, yeah. So stomatas are the small tiny pores. They have guard cells. Okay, I'm just drawing roughly, please note it. So this we call it as stoma. If it is plural, we call it as stomata, right? These are present just the lower surface of the leaf. So they will open and close. They help in exchange of gases in the leaves. Okay, they also helps in transpiration, right? So this is one process which happens in the plant to keep the plant, to maintain the temperature of the plant in a cool manner, right? So that is transpiration. So the question is talking why in the desert plants these stomatas are closed. So we'll see our answer. So in desert plants, stomata will be open in the night only. Why they are open in the night only? To take up carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is important for photosynthesis process, right? They need carbon dioxide. So to take up the carbon dioxide, stomatas of the desert plants open only at the night. Stomata, they will remain closed during the daytime to prevent loss of water. How the loss of water is happening? By transpiration process. I told you about this. The transpiration, it is one of the process to maintain the cooler temperature in the plant body. They will remove the water in the form of water vapors. So that process we call it as transpiration. So they store the carbon dioxide in their cells until the sun comes out so that they can carry on with the photosynthesis during the daytime. So if the desert plants open the stomata during the daytime, so there will be transpiration, they lose their water, they can't survive. So to avoid that, they will open the stomata only during the night. Make sure to underline these keywords in your answers. Okay. Yes, this is the 10th question. Our next question is question number 10. It is missed here. Question number 10. Again, it have two subparts. Question number A, state the role played by the following in the process of digestion. So they have given two enzymes, enzyme trypsin, enzyme lipase. Question number B is asking about list two functions of finger-like projections present in the small intestine. Let us see the 10th question, A part, the role played by these enzymes in the digestion. Trypsin and lipase, these are the enzymes which are produced from pancreas. Yeah. So what is their role in the digestion process? Trypsin, it will break down the proteins which is left over or remaining proteins. See, the first protein digestion, it happens in the stomach. Where it happens? In the stomach with the help of enzyme called pepsin. Yeah. So the leftover proteins are broken down by the trypsin enzyme. That is the main function of trypsin. The next one is lipase. This is also released from the pancreas. So here breakdown of fats will happen. Yeah, breakdown of fats. Let us see the answer. So enzyme trypsin, this is the enzyme produced by pancreas. As I said, it converts the remaining proteins into amino acids. So the next enzyme was enzyme lipase. It is also secreted by pancreas and it is released into the small intestine. Lipase converts fats into fatty acids and glycerol. Make sure to underline these keywords without fail. Okay. The next question was 10th question B. List two functions of finger-like projections present in the small intestine. Which are the finger-like projections you can find, like this kind of projections you can find in the small intestine? These are called as villi. So as we know, these are the finger-like projections present in the small intestine. They help in absorption of food. So where is the absorption of food it is happening? It is happening in the small intestine with the help of villi. Okay. So what is, they're asking two functions. The one function we got it absorbs the nutrients which is present in the food of the small intestine. So what is the second function of it? So since there are many villi in the small intestine, it helps in quicker absorption of nutrients. Quick absorption of nutrients. Okay. Let us put it in the statements properly. See this? Yeah. Internally, the wall of small intestine is provided with long finger-like projections. They are called as villi. They have two functions to do. The first function is villi greatly increases the absorptive surface area in the inner lining of the small intestine. The second function is the large surface area of the small intestine helps in rapid absorption of digested food. So again, make sure to underline all these keywords. So just you have to put it in short form and the keywords. Okay. So this is the answer. Please note it down. Fine. We will be moving on to, I guess this much for today. For your examinations, I want to put in few points to remember. See, first and foremost thing, prepare your own study schedule. So what to prepare, when to prepare, which subject to prepare, which topic to be prepared, make your own study plan. The next point is revise the topics, revise the concept which is difficult for you in these days what you have. During the exam time you will be very eager or very anxious, so you may tend to forget the harder topics. Make sure to revise all those topics now itself or learn those difficult concepts now itself. Okay, when you're writing your exams, write neatly and legibly. Handwriting should be neat, clean, and it should be readable. Okay, don't mess up in the handwriting. So make sure your handwriting is neat and legibly. The presentation should be good on the paper. Next is write answers in point wise. In science, we don't expect paragraph answers. Stick on to the question, stick on to the number of points you're supposed to write and put it in point wise. Okay. Next is underline the keywords. In science, we expect you people to underline the main important points, main important keywords, underline them. Okay. The fourth point, use pencil for diagrams. Wherever the diagrams are necessary, make sure to use a sharp pencil and use eraser when you are not confident or when it is not looking neat. Okay, use pencils to draw diagram. Don't draw with the pen as it is. Make the presentation look neat. Okay. So that's it for today. We'll meet up in the next coming videos. Thank you.